Oh,
Look
damn!
at you.
Yo, I've been life hacking this thing, man. It's been so much fun. So I'm gonna put this away so that it doesn't bug us. How you doing? Thanks for making some time.
Amazing. I'm doing amazing. It's been a beautiful morning. You know what it is, waking up early.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
I'm up. I try to be up 7 a.m.
Is
every
that
morning,
is
you
that
know?
is that a new thing, or you've been doing that for a minute?
No, I've been doing that for a minute. I've been doing that for a minute. It's
Really?
something that honestly helps me so much throughout my day, like in every single aspect. It's unreal. I don't know what I do without
Man.
waking up early.
You know, talking about waking up early, the homie Zilna is logging in from Vancouver. It's like 5 a.m. or something for her. That's dedication, homegirl. I love you for it. Thank you so much for joining. Quick question from Emmett. Is it true to make more money once you invest in real estate? You know, it's a tricky thing, man, because real estate takes a different type of muscle memory and
Yeah.
different type of hustle. And I don't have it. Like every time I think about investing in real estate, I think about being stuck with shitty tenants.
100%. Not just that, but then I mean, this is something that goes up and down so drastically that if you're not, for me, when it comes to investing, if you can't take that money, roll it up and smoke it, you should be investing that money, my friend. Okay, that's not money you have to invest.
Yeah,
You
you're
need
so
to you need
true,
to have
man.
smart investments. People need to work on that. You know, if you don't have that money and that money is your main priority, you need to feed your family. You need to get your stuff done. Make sure you get your shit done. Like that is
Yeah.
important.
No, and it's crazy because so many people assume like real estate is such an easy thing to start building equity. And I'm like, look, I'm a old school G, man. I grew up with very little money. I still sleep with money in my pillow. Like for me, and real talk, I'm not kidding. Like I have money, a $20 bill in my pillow from like way back to remind me to take care of my money at night when I sleep.
I
And
love that.
so for me, it's like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna put stuff into a bank and then I put it into an equity thing and see what happens. And I don't know. But hey, man, other people are making a shit ton of killing on it. That's their thing. They own a dozen properties. That's their retirement plan. I'm like, look, I didn't know I was gonna make it to 25. Now I made it to 45. So I'm good. I'm good. But
Oh, 100%.
uh,
I think it's
it's
important that you note, like, think about your passion. That's kind of where passion comes into it. If this is something
yeah.
that interests you, something that you feel like you can do on a daily, you can research it, you can make money off of it. Dude, do you make all of the money? You can do it. You just
A
gotta
hundred
believe it.
percent, 100%. So let's talk about you, because when I invited you, I was fascinated already from our last conversations and your history and your past, and this is really uh, about breaking down the idea of making money, right? As we chatted about. What up, Sharmila? And people have such a emotional thing about money, and we never reconcile like where these feelings came from, so we can't direct them into anything, and then the number one thing that governs all of our minds for majority of the day is money,
Yeah.
and we don't fully understand it. So for me, it's been a science of breaking it down. But you have taken an entrepreneurial path. You're your own boss. You got a couple of companies that you're running now. I want to like get everybody to know you from the beginning. So give me like a
Sounds
30
good.
minute or 30-second intro. But I also want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
With the travel ban eventually being lifted, where is the one place that you want to get a flight ticket to go to ASAP if
I
you can
already
do
have
it?
that planned. I know literally as soon as it's open, I have a trip to Mexico ready to go.
There
It's not
you
even
go. But yeah, give the folks a intro to you, man.
All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Tiara Soulette. I'm 25 years old. I opened my first business when I was 22, fresh out of university, like 4 months after graduating. Opened my first business with my
Wow.
wife. My wife's a physiotherapist, and when she came to Canada, she decided that she would merge with me and do all of this cannabis-related stuff. And it was awesome for me because it's like, you want to be around your significant other a lot, and it was great to find a passion that we both shared, and we kind of took off with that. We started with a cannabis vape lounge called Natural Buds in 2017. In
Right, and
October
that's when we got
2017.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we turned that into a cannabis education center. I've been really big on cannabis education. I teach the Durham Regional Police Services. I'm Parkinson's Canada and MS Canada's education person for cannabis.
Wow.
And I also do a lot of stuff for the government and internationally as well. We speak a few languages, so we try to make that work within our education all over. And now I work with herbology.org. That is actually in itself an international cannabis education company. So we work with some places in Europe, some places in Latin America, and that's
Yeah,
great. So.
I've seen some of the Insta stories, man. I'm like, I wish I can go. You know,
It's beautiful.
it's crazy. So to break down sort of the path to 25 and thinking about starting a business, one of the things that I talk a lot about is focusing on as often as possible identifying the strength. I just wrote a blog about it today. Short plug. There's a link to my blog. I'm starting to write again, but I realized like there's gifted athletes where as soon as you like see a young version of a Shaq or Kobe, you're like, oh man, forget everything else. We're gonna make you the best basketball player. For the rest of us, it's you're sucking math, you're shitty in English, you're bad at these things, and then for the next foreseeable amount of time in your life, people are constantly hitting you up with what to make you better,
Yeah.
versus looking at the skills that you demonstrated at an early age, which just blossoms. Like I've been like this since I was born, but
Yes.
I didn't expect to like own it until late into my 20s and late into my 30s. So talk to me about identifying some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses that you identified, and then how did that take you on this path to go, I want to do my own thing at 25, and the strength to be able to do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit about this. So actually, the way it started was when I was in school, since I was like 6 years old, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Okay, I mean, I
Okay.
had this path. I was going to be a lawyer, then be a judge. It was a whole process. Okay, so going through school,
Why a lawyer? That's like a
I love to
crazy.
debate. I love to talk. I
Ah,
love to
see,
present.
that's what I mean by
Yeah,
knowing what
it was
naturally
finding
comes
that,
to you.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Finding
Okay.
that, and getting through university, I did criminology and justice and forensic psychology in university, and I loved it. It was very interesting. But then I realized that my real passion is speaking about things I'm interested in. Throughout the entire
Right.
time that I talked in school, all of my papers were about cannabis, legalization, legislation. Every single professor knew that if like you got to choose what you wanted to speak about, they
It's
knew I
gonna
was
be
talking about
cannabis.
cannabis. It was ready to go. They knew it. And I did it every single time. I loved it. I made a huge platform on it and got people kind of interested. And I realized that, wow, like I'm so into this. Like, I love it. I could do this every single day for the rest of my life and be happy. And when I graduated, my
Can we
wife
just
asked
talk
me,
about
she's like,
that for a
okay,
second?
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's just talk about that comment you just made of if I can do this for the rest of my life, I will be happy. What an enlightening statement to make at such a young age. Were you conscious of it, or was it a feeling of like, man, if I can do this?
I was conscious of it. I realized it in that moment that, okay, if I was to be a lawyer, I don't know if I would love what I do for the rest of my life. I don't ever want to have a job where I'm working a 9 to 5 I can't stand. I honestly could never live a life where I hated my job. I mean, you do your job for so much of your time in your life. I
Yeah.
mean, unless you're blessed that you're only working 1 or 2 hours a day, the reality is you're working a decent amount of time of your life. If you're doing something you hate all the time, imagine what you're manifesting constantly. Just things you don't like, things you don't like. I started
Yeah.
realizing that when I started finding the things I was interested in, things I was passionate about, things I could really feel like myself in, I realized, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. I need to capitalize on this. I need to find a way to make money out of my passion. And
That is
that's what it has.
so big. And when you were discovering, so what I used to do is like, uh, I used to really pay attention to the moments that like I didn't feel good about, right? Like when people said you're dumb or you're stupid or you weren't good, I paid attention to most of that until I was 14 or 15. And then the switch went off when I said, well, if I keep paying attention to the things that I'm not good at that people tell me, I'm not paying attention to the things that I'm good at. And then I didn't know how to pay attention to the things that I get at. I called them my emotional bank now. We talked about it yesterday. But I literally had to write on a piece of paper. Like I used to roll with stickies all day, every day. And as soon as I feel good about something, a song, a food that I just tasted, a comment, I would have to write it down and physically manifest it in my brain that this
Yes.
is something that I like or I'm good at. How did you start to think about the things that you like to do, the things that made you, like awesome and feel good?
Okay, so actually it started with finding what I really didn't like, believe it or not.
Okay.
So what happened was is like throughout school, getting into high school, I'm not very good with structure. Okay. I'm kind of a free bird that way. I like to do me. I did very, very well in school, but if I missed 4 more days, I wouldn't graduate because
Yeah.
I literally was not in class. Okay. But I realized that, okay, I have strengths in this. I can do things on my own. I can teach myself. I can figure out what I need. And I was decent at teaching others. Like throughout my entire life, I was a piano teacher, a French tutor, a Spanish tutor. Like all I did was teaching stuff
Teach.
for all of my
Yeah.
life, really. And I realized, like, okay, this is really something I love. If I can incorporate something I love, like cannabis, which is such a passion for me to learn about, to use, to teach people about, and make money out of it, that's literally, I'm winning. Like that's the best of both worlds for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's what an incredible statement.
slowly, it's a process. It's not, nothing's going to come up in a second. I mean, I started this in June of 2017. It's now 2020, and things are really starting to take off. But it takes time. It takes a process.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to stay committed. You got to wait. If you're gonna have these little habits, like I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to do that for the last few years. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
So let's talk about that. And before we jump up, guys, thank you for joining, and thank you for the hearts and some of the comments I'm seeing. We're talking about cannabis. We're talking about being a boss lady. We're talking about passion. We're turning it into tasks and habits. You're gonna get a lot of nuggets out of it. I know there's a friend that should listen to this, so hit that share button, tag a friend. I don't actually know how to share stuff in Instagram. It's so crazy. I've been so invested in like Facebook that I know everything about it. But Instagram, I'm like, how do I tell people? Who knows I'm alive? It's crazy. But so we got this sense of like, okay, I'm good at talking. Maybe I want to be a lawyer, but I love educating. You're starting to understand things that make you tick. You haven't figured out how to make money yet, but you kind of know this is the kind of stuff I'm good at. This shit just makes me happy.
it makes me happy. Exactly.
And the right people around you are saying, "Yo, go," because that's your thing. Like we dig it when you do this, right? Um, and then cannabis is sort of there, lingering as a passion, as a thing that you want to talk about all day.
Still illegal though at this point, by the way.
Yeah,
Illegal, so.
exactly. You're like, there's a movie coming out about this one day with you, man. Like this thing I've heard, but at some point you're like this crazy taboo thing that is my passion. Of all the things I can get excited about speaking in the world, I want to do this. Where is sort of the driver that sort of said, okay, let's go all in now. This is going to be my thing.
You know, that I have to credit my wife a bit for. At that time, as soon as I graduated, I was in a bit of a confused state. Like, okay, now what do I really do with my life? Like, I have a degree, but what is this going to do for me? Like, now I have to actually find a job, something I like to do, something I'm willing to do. And it was my wife who pushed me. She's like, I know you. I know that you need to be passionate about something to do it, or else you are going to hate your life. You're not going to be able to deal. And if in our relationship we want a positive life where we want to manifest what it is we want, our daily life needs to mirror that.
Right.
So if we want positive, peaceful, happy, loving, we got to put in that work. We got to make that happen. We got to put that mind frame in. We got to be talking to the universe to be like, look, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want. And we started doing that, meditations, like little things that kind of started working on visualization, on how we really wanted to manifest things. And I got to credit my wife for that. She helped me with that drastically. She taught me so much about how to really do introspection on what it is you really want, what it is you're really looking for. Because, I mean, in this day and age, we are so brainwashed with everything. I mean, with TV, all sorts of social media, like everything around us is brainwashing us to believe a certain thing. We have a linear life that people believe you need to do. You go to school, you graduate, you have to get a shitty freaking job until you eventually move up in life. And then maybe when you're 60, you can have a really nice sports car. Yeah, that's not what I was looking for in life, in any way whatsoever, like at all. I want to enjoy every moment. I want to enjoy the journey. I want to enjoy the process. I don't want to hate my life and then be like, okay, I finally made it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I try to separate like the question of what makes me happy, who I am, away from what I do. And what I mean by that is like for every one of you and me, where we go down this other path to figure out the question to what makes me who I am, how do I serve the universe, and how can I, in serving others, live my best life? There's other people where, man, I studied to be a lawyer. I'm now a lawyer. I love 30-hour nights, and this is what I want to do for the next 1,000 years, and I'm good with it, right? But they also have the same sense of confusion or question to go, who am I? And I feel like so much of what we are taught from day one is what you do is who you are,
Yes.
versus who you are is completely independent of what you do, which gives us the freedom to grow in both,
Yes. I
right?
agree with that. I
You
agree with
know,
that.
and so I like moments of confusion. And when I meet young people, they're like, I'm so lost, I'm so confused, I need to get out. I'm like, stay confused for a bit longer. It's beautiful to be kind of lost and wandering and figuring shit out.
There's so many possibilities at that point, you know? There's
Yeah,
no
and
possibilities are closed. When you're in that confusion, you're like, well, do I do this? Will I do this? Well, you could do all of it. Like you could do so much. And you don't
yeah,
really see that when you're not looking at those possibilities.
that's incredible, man. And so now you got this new business you launched at 25. Your wifey's got your back. You're like, okay, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
What are some of the early struggles where you almost were like, this is crazy?
Honestly, our biggest struggle was our company originally was a like herbology was when we got into it because we have another business partner, and it was a media company. So we're like, okay, my wife's amazing at marketing. She's like great at all that. I'm not. I am not a marketer. That's not my strength by any means. So she helped with all of that, but it was really realizing in that moment that okay, this is what I need. This is what I need. This is what I need.
And then when you are hitting these moments of difficulty, and I always look back at my like early days where I'm like, man, the first time, we had to run out of money and like, I don't know how to get money, or the first time I had to get a client, or the first time a client leaves you because you did something wrong. There's this constant like test that happens when you take this path, because you take on all the burden, versus if I go to work for somebody,
Yes.
my circumference of issues are in my role, right? And not the rest of the company. So when we talked about habits earlier, I truly believe people that live an entrepreneurial lifestyle create these habits that empower them in moments of like, oh shit,
Yeah, you have
you
to
know,
motivate yourself. You're your
right?
boss. You got to deal with everything. You know, like the finance, unless you're hiring somebody for all of that. And let's be real, at the beginning, when you're just opening up a startup business, you're dealing with pretty much everything on your own. Okay. There's not that income that's coming in where you can be like, oh, let's hire like everyone to do everything so I don't have to deal. No. I mean, if you have a brick and mortar location, you got to clean that place every single day. You want to make sure you have a nice view. I mean, when we had Natural Buds, it was a brick and mortar location. Everything's now online, but when we first had the brick and mortar, it was like going in, making sure that place was spick and span every single day, because what you present to the world is kind of how they see, like it's their first impression. You want to make sure everything's on point at all times. I know that one
Yeah.
of the things that I struggled with was like having this control, because it's your baby, you know, like this is like your business, and you feel like no one can do for this business what you can do. And so struggling, like my biggest struggle was like finding people we wanted to work with that we felt could really represent the company that the way we would do it in a way that we were comfortable. And that was probably one of our biggest struggles, because we had a lot of that control issue that we're working on kind of
100%.
letting go of.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So break down some like actionable things for people watching, right? So you need a dose of inspiration. You're like, man, I'm feeling low today. I'm in my rut. I don't feel like getting out of bed. What do you do to break that mindset?
So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Let's have a really real and raw conversation,
100%.
because this has happened to us. And we are very into plant medicine. Okay. I believe that if it comes from the earth, it can do some incredible, incredible things. And I'm very into microdosing in psilocybin. It's the active component of magic mushrooms and LSD. And it opens pathways and connections in your brain that did not exist before. Okay, so people say that you use approximately 10% of your brain. I 100% believe that it opens up so much more percent of your brain that you were not. And the amount of inspiration and motivation I got from using the plant medicine has driven everything I've done in my business.
Wow.
Everything I've done in my business has a huge part of it is definitely attributed to plant medicine because honestly, it's something that it makes you think different. It gives you different perspectives. It opens up your parameters of what we've been molded into, and it allows you to think differently. And in all reality, it's something that has drastically changed the way I do business and the way I see business itself.
So then, in your line of work, you meet people like me where I'm open-minded. I want to explore different ways to just get that 10%. Even if I get to 11%, I can't imagine the kind of things I'm going to think about. But there's a whole bunch of people that are naysayers in the industry because of the propaganda, because
Absolutely.
of the stereotypical marketing that has led this industry for so long. How do you break through?
So my biggest thing is research, okay? If anybody does even 5 minutes of research, you're about to crush every single myth you originally believed because none of it's true. In the 2017 drug survey, it has been noted that psilocybin is the safest drug in the world. It's safer
Wow.
than cannabis, okay? And you don't die on cannabis, so it's about as safe as you can get, really.
Right, right,
And
right.
the reality is that people are scared because they don't really know what's to happen. Okay, like having a trip can be scary because you're in a different mindset. You're you're seeing different perspectives. It's opening up your brain, literally. You know, so sometimes that's scary for people, the unknown. But my biggest recommendation is to let go. It will really teach you so much about yourself. It's going to give you so much introspection. If you're really struggling with questions on like, what do I do with my life? What do I want? What do I need? Try this. Honestly, every single person that I have spoken to that has ever experienced it has only spoken incredible things about it and that it has changed their life in such drastic ways that almost every
Man,
single entrepreneur that I deal with, I work with, has had some form of psilocybin to increase their perception, increase their parameters, and honestly, it's helped them a lot.
that's incredible. And actually, Zilna set me up for the next question for you. We talked about it briefly, but let's get down into the importance of having the right partner, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, I got lucky too, man. Like my wife 100% supports everything I do blindly sometimes where I'm like, really? You're down with this? you know? But we can't do the kind of things we do without sometimes a safety net and a place to fall back and when it doesn't go the way we do, or sometimes the extra boost to be like, go kill it,
100%.
right?
Oh my God,
But
yeah.
tell me in your words, what is the importance or having, you know, the right wifey with you? Like how does that,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Honestly, it is my make or break, to be honest. If I didn't have the support system that I have, and honestly, I gotta be honest. I know that I'm probably biased, but my wife is freaking amazing. Okay, like she is brilliant in so many things. Her strengths are my weaknesses. My
Right,
strengths are her weaknesses, and we work perfectly together that way. So she knows where she's good at. I know where I'm good at, and we help each other. You
right.
know, we work together. We're very into manifesting, meditating together, doing things that are really going to improve your quality of life. When you do these types of things together, exercising, like we play tennis every single morning. We wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m. We're at the tennis court for about an hour, just,
Jeez.
playing tennis or going to the driving range, playing golf. We exercise together. You work hard, you play hard, and we love
100%,
it.
man.
We do it together. We enjoy it. She fuels me, I fuel her. And it's honestly just if you can share a passion with your significant other and you can push each other in a positive way, you guys are winning because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you have a partner that you love, doing something that you love, and all you're manifesting is just love.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And I'm sure, everything that you talk about today grew over time, pun intended.
Absolutely.
Pun
100%.
intended. I squeezed that pun in. I was waiting to use that pun, but it grew over time. Uh, but those early days, what are some of the ways to build that strong foundation? For me, it was transparency. Like I tell all my friends, don't be that version that you want to do on the dating scene. Be that version that you are all the time, because that's what they're
100%.
signing up for. But what are some of the things that made you guys so tight in not just relationship but also business?
Honestly, I think like you said, transparency, but communication more than anything was our biggest thing. We are open about everything. Like, she knows everything about me. I know everything about her. And I think that was one of the biggest things in learning how to trust. Once you can trust each other completely, like really, really trust each other. Not like I love them and yeah, like I could trust them, but like I can trust her with my business. I could trust her with my life. I could trust her with anything. And I know that she's got me.
Right.
That type of trust is what's going to slowly build things to be like, okay, you know what? This is how we grow now. Now we're on the same page. Once you trust each other and you guys are on the same page, you're like, okay, now we know exactly how we want to grow.
Right. No, that's amazing. So we talked about strengths a lot. Tell me one or two weaknesses that you ignore on purpose. You're like, I'm never going to be good at that shit. I don't care what the world said. I'm going to agree that that version of Tiara is not going to happen.
I am not the most clean, organized individual. Okay. My wife is 100% behind me. Make sure you don't forget this, and you have this tomorrow, and you need to do this. And yes, she is. She's got me. She's 100% got me because I have so much happening all the time. I feel like my mind's running like 1,000 miles an hour, and I have like 1,000 people I need to talk to, and it's like I need to slow everything down. My thing is trying to take a moment to ground myself. Sometimes I have a lot of trouble with that. I'm always all over the place, and that's where she helps me a lot. She helps ground me. You know, she'll take me outside and be like, take your shoes off and stand on the earth. You need to ground yourself. You know,
Wow.
sit down. We need to meditate. It's going to be just a short meditation. I know you don't have time. I know you only have 5 minutes. Let's take a 5-minute meditation. Just breathe. You need to not think so much. I have a lot of anxiety. So my anxiety sometimes play against me. And she is very helpful in that sense because, one, she's extremely supportive. She's always telling me, like, you know, you can do this, or this is what you need to do to accomplish this. Let's find ways to find solutions, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the biggest thing was it's me and her against everything, not me against her. And that's where we kind of found, like, okay, we are working together to build something together. If we're fighting against each other, nothing's happening. There's no movement.
No, 100%, man, 100%. And you are absolutely right. You get up in the morning, and it's you and her against all of the hurdles, against the dream that you guys are chasing after. Let's talk about visualization briefly. It's one of the skill sets that I hate the fact that the schools don't teach. It's very absolute, and I'm a big believer in visualization. I have books upon books on my shelf where I literally clip pictures back in the day. Now I have a mood board on Pinterest. If I can't see it, picture it, smell it, and like almost just know it's in place, it's not going to happen for me. Give us some of your process in visualization. Not the, like, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about this shit. It's like very bougie and high level and like not concrete enough. Like, what are the things you absolutely do to visualize and manifest?
So, okay, I think that you really kind of pointed a few things out. Your senses are super important, okay? So when I try to manifest something, I want to bring my senses into it. How would it feel to have this? What would the moment smell like? What would it look like? What does it feel like overall? Feeling these senses, I find, helps me manifest way faster than any other way. Like, I've done like the meditations, or I've just done, oh yeah, think about it and you'll get it. And never really worked for me. Like you said, it's kind of like everyone has their own way, but to really break it down was taking your senses and feeling what it would be like in that moment when you have it. Feel as if you have it.
Big,
when you have it, then the universe is like, oh, okay, I need to give this to her. She has this. Like, you're creating abundance. You're manifesting what you're wanting. And I feel like in those moments is like, okay, when you can show, when you're saying things you don't want, when you're saying things you don't feel or you're not about, that's what the universe is actually giving to you. That's what you're manifesting.
Yeah,
the universe
man.
doesn't realize no or yes. The universe is seeing what it is you're looking for.
Yeah,
you want
so
love?
true.
It's about what you want, not what you don't want. That's how you manifest, in my opinion.
No, it's so true. I tell you, real story. This is like 15 years ago. Our mutual friend Stan invited me to this mastermind money conference, right? And I'm in like the middle of my second business. I'm hustling. I'm like, bro, I don't want to go to an event or somebody's gonna try to sell me some books and like back in the day tapes and shit. Like, I'm just not interested. He's like, bro, it's a free ticket. Somebody bounced. It's an afternoon. Come with me. I'm like, cool. And I went there completely skeptical because I'm like, this is gonna be one of those weird money grabbing seminars. What the fuck, right? So I sit there, and like 90% of the event was what I expected. People just, just share something. It's like, go to the back, get a book. And I'm like, fuck. So near the end, like I almost left, and then this dude comes on, and he's like talking about money, and he takes out a $20 bill, and he's like, yo, who would want this money? And everybody's like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, who would want it if it's on the ground? Who would want it if it's in a pile of shit? Like, and more the hands just went down and down and down. And he's like, you realize you can't ask for money and then choose how you want it.
Wow.
And he's like, how many of you walk by the street and you see a penny on the ground and you don't pick it up?
That's so accurate. Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm that guy. I would walk by, I would see a dime or a quarter or a penny, and I'm like, I'm not picking it up. What if people see me pick up some money? And he's like, that is the universe saying, hey, I know, Satish, you're looking for some money. You're hustling. Here's what I got. And every time you don't pick it up and you see it, it's one thing if you don't see it. But if you see it and you don't react to it, you're not saying, I'm good. I don't want it. It's cool. I see it. I don't want to take it.
And you manifest more of that then, right?
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't want it.
The craziest thing is like I started seeing pennies everywhere after that day. I don't care if it's in shit, if it's deeply buried in snow. As soon as I see it, I got to pick it up. And I can tell you the pattern to earn income from the day I pick up a penny or I find a dime or what back in the days, loonies. I can map out the path to my next contract. That's how accurate it was, man.
Wow.
But even then, like I'll be in a full suit. I'm walking down the street with some clients. I see a dime. I can't stop thinking about it. I got to pick it up.
You got to pick it up. I love it.
It's a crazy, crazy thing that is like,
but
I live that
type
truth.
Of habit. It's a mental habit now that you're doing. And that is creating this manifestation because now you're creating more pennies. You're creating more money. You're creating more opportunities. You're opening yourself up to this. And I feel like that's literally what it's all about. That's literally how you manifest. It's also those little habits. I feel like that's one of the things I forgot to mention was the habit of trying to manifest. Because you can't do it once and be like, okay, it's going to happen. It's over. Like I did it. I tried it and that's it. No, it's a process,
And you got to do it every time.
It's intention. Putting out intention every single day. What is
amazing, man. Some bombs today. Okay, to close it all up, tell me what's going on with your business. What's the rest of the year look like? What up, Deep? Tell me what the rest of the year looks like. What are you working on? What are some of the things that you've either shifted or created new habits around what's happening in the universe?
So right now, as I mentioned, I'm very into plant medicine. So is my wife. We have been getting very deep into learning about all of the various things, not just like psilocybin, but I'm talking about like ayahuasca, iboga, and all of these different things because not only of their spiritual help, but their help with like helping mental illnesses like anxiety, depression. I mean, the amount of things that it can do is incredible. Now, herbology is mainly currently a cannabis-related company, but I am going to be shifting that in the next few months to be an education center on all types of plant medicine, all types of like entheogens and all of that you can, have different experiences, opening up your parameters. I think that's so important. So I want to be able to teach people now about all of these things I'm learning and experiencing and how it's changed my life because I'm honestly an advocate for it at this point.
Incredible, man. I love the fact that at a very early age, you discovered your passion to share and speak. And that took you on this really awesome journey of business that's now letting you do what you love, which is talking, sharing about the one stuff that you love, which is cannabis and the impact of the people. I love you for that. And you truly are a boss lady. And you helped me kick off this session with such integrity and storytelling that I love it. Folks, if you're watching this as a replay, the link is in the comment. Go follow her, man, and get in touch. We're operating at a 10% brain capacity. Imagine the things you can do at 11, 12, 15% capacity. And there's a proven safe way to try it out. And if anybody's going to get you into that space and safely let you try it out, it's going to be this boss lady right here. So check that out. Thank you again for joining me, man.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and I'm sorry I interrupted the tennis plan today. I know it's after.
Oh, don't even worry.
Tell
We're
wifey
gonna go
I
at
said
11.
what
We
up.
already have a plan.
Okay, I'll see you in real life soon. Hopefully, when all these
Good.
things calm down, and we'll put our face masks on and hang out.
You know what it is. It's great
Thank you,
talking to you,
Van.
brother.
Okay,
Have a
see you.
great day.
Bye.